In the heart of Southern Africa, where the Kalahari sands meet the sky, a child was born to change history itself. Seretse Khama, Prince of the Bangwato, heir to an ancient throne, was raised to unite a fractured land and forge a nation from dust. Surawa in 1921, young Seretse grew up steeped in tradition, yet his education stretched beyond borders, from South Africa's classrooms to Britannia's lecture halls. But it was a London office where the fate intervened. Ruth Williams, a white British woman, defied apartheid's venom to marry him. The South Africa's government was threatened from this act. The colonial powers protested fiercely against this marriage. Nevertheless, Seretse refused to bend. He then declared, "I choose justice for my wife and for my people." That stubborn hope became Botswana's heartbeat. In 1961, Khama founded the Botswana Democratic Party, not with empty slogans, but with a cunning plan. By 1965, he was then elected as Prime Minister of Bechuana Land Protectorate. 1 year later, to be precise, on the 30th September 1966, Botswana gained independence through the power of their people. Seretse Khama became then its first president. But freedom alone could not feed his people. Botswana has no fertile soil, only 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles of paved roads, and few of its people had formal education, with only 22 university graduates and 100 secondary school graduates, with a population of around 500,000 citizens at this time. Therefore, it was labeled as the poorest of the poor. But through his well-educated vision, Khama saw a land of prosperity. He addressed his people with the vow, "We will not beg, we will build." He made some big deals with De Beers, who is a huge company that controls the diamond trade around the world. Taxes were cut, investors were encouraged, and a new plan was created. Brick by brick, roads stretched across the land, clinics rose to heal, and schools emerged to educate, each one a stepping stone towards a brighter future. He ruled like no other African leader. If a cousin demanded a favor, Khama hired an engineer instead. His policy was merit over tribe and transparency over tyranny. Therefore, the small public service was transformed into an efficient and relatively corruption-free bureaucracy, with workers hired based on their merit. The government did not want to immediately indigenize the bureaucracy, and so they kept on hiring foreign employees until they could find people from Botswana who had the right skills to do the job. Khama and his people also drew on international advisors and consultants. Through these actions, Botswana had between 1960 and 1980 the fastest growing economy in the world. Due to Khama's dedication to development, very little was spent on defense, and a small military police force was initially formed in place of an army. However, after South African and Rhodesian forces attacked several times, the Botswana Defense Force was formed in 1977 as a small professional army. When it came to foreign policy, Khama was careful and did not let militant groups operate from within Botswana. On 13th July 1980, Seretse Khama passed away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by his wife in Botswana. His death marked the end of an era, but the nation he built was no longer just surviving, it was thriving, standing firmly on its own, and offering millions the promise of a brighter future. A total of 30,000 people gathered to pay their respects as his body was on display. This shows just how much of an impact his leadership had.